Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Create Above and Beyond. In today's episode, we're going to take the time to build a brand new workshop at our new megabase location. Now, before we get started with that, I definitely want to make some comments on this train. First off, I definitely hear you guys down in the comments. I will definitely be making this track that just kind of runs under the ground into a sky bridge. I love the idea. I think it'll look awesome. It'll make it a lot easier for me to place higher speed tracks. I can go over any terrain. I can just make something modular. It's a fantastic idea. However, I don't think it's going to happen right away because this still does work. I get from point A to point B just fine, and it doesn't look too crazy, but once I get that done, I'll definitely be able to section off into two distinct trains and have it look really nice and really cool, and then more carriages, and everything will just kind of work out really well together. The other thing I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take out these inverted lights to make it look a little bit more like a hover train. I originally thought these would be like some kind of like weird energy field or something, which is causing the train to float. But I think it would look better just without some. So let's knock these out and see how that looks. Yeah, I do like that better. It looks more futuristic, more hovering. We're definitely going to take those out and leave those out. The other thing I want to comment on is our bed staircase. I think I'm going to leave it for now. And the reason is I did see one comment down below that basically said we should make this a contraption that pops out of the ground and then pops back into the ground. And I love that idea. However, this is not the final resting place of our main train car. So I'm going to wait until we add a few more carriages on here and the train car moves down to wherever I think its final location is going to be. And then we're going to build some kind of contraption that pops out of the ground when the train reaches the station to add a little staircase and then goes back down into the ground whenever we take off. So that way our train station looks nice and clean and it doesn't connect up to our train and get taken with it. So now let's hop right into designing our brand new workshop. So to get started with this project, I'm actually going to start by just kind of blocking out where we want our walls to go with some cobblestone so we get an idea of the general shape of our workshop building. And then the next step I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the time to build our machines first. And that's just so we don't have any size constraints. Basically, we can go as big or as compact as we need it to be without having to worry too much about what the end product is going to look like, because we can essentially move these walls or adjust stuff as needed. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place a lot of these ferro flare lanterns, because basically what they do is they place a bunch of invisible lights everywhere. So all of our lights inside our factory can essentially be decorative because we have our ferro flare lanterns taking care of all of the lighting. Now I know there's also the megatorch, which does the same thing, and I think it actually has a bigger radius and doesn't place light. So that's also an option, but sadly we are not quite at the zinc machine stage yet. The next few episodes though I think we will be, so when we do get to that point we will place a megatorch. Alright, and here is the kind of rough outline of our workshop area. And one thing that I think I want to do for all of the builds in this kind of area is have a subfloor. So basically a floor under the floor where we could do all of our redstone wiring, power transfer, both RF and create power. So I'll probably actually start the floor all the way up here. And then below that will kind of be our subfloor where we'll clear out a whole space underneath to have like a maybe like 5-block tall floor, so we really have plenty of space to kind of do all of that like inner working stuff that maybe doesn't look so good, but is pretty important to do. Now, while this is a decent sized space, I do have a feeling that we will need more, so I'm going to probably expand out that way into the mountain if we do end up wanting some more expansion space. And then for connecting up to our train station, we'll probably just bring a staircase up and then over, and then probably have a big grand entrance right here where you come in and you'll be greeted by our big workshop machines. So now I'm going to spend a little bit more time kind of blocking this out, getting our final layout done, and then we'll get all of our contraptions built for our workshop 2.0. Holy crap, I just broke a randomonium ore and I got a pyromancer staff. Shoots a blaze and glass. Ah! But anyway, we got a staff. Oh, we got to charge it with blaze powder, it looks like. Yes, there we go. Charge is 0. Don't think I have any blaze powder, but we'll throw this in our bag and use it next time we're in the nether or get some blaze powder going. That's sweet. So I'm taking a little bit of a different approach to this build than I usually do. So I went ahead and made like a very uniform scaffolding structure. Then we have our 5-block basement under that. And I think this will kind of help to get an idea of the size and the shape, so when I actually build my contraptions, I can kind of plan walkways. Because I think I want one walkway coming through here, and then we're going to want like one kind of around the edge, and then I think all of our like machinery and contraptions will kind of be in the middle here. And I think that'll end up looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare a whole bunch of different machines, and we'll jump right into a time lapse of building all of the mechanisms. And here it is. All of the machines are now completed for our brand new Workshop 2.0 build. And I really like how this thing turned out. So I went through quite a different plans and revisions in my mind. And actually like placed a bunch of stuff down and broke it and replaced it, all to just kind of make my kind of workflow in here make the most sense. So I do have a few manual crafting machines. So first off, we have our spout for filling. I've got 4 fluid tanks here, which I can fill up either manually with buckets or potions of stuff, or I could pump stuff in here eventually and then automatically, I guess I should say manually fill it from here. And then obviously we have our mechanical crafter, which is a must. Gotta have your mechanical crafter. And then over here, I've got my 2 mixing stations, one not heated, one heated. I still need to go get a blaze and get that hooked up to some power, but I think that'll work out pretty good for us. Now, the reason I went manual with my mixing is for most of the stuff you're going to actually mix up, it's 2 or more ingredients, and it's kind of hard to automatically plan that out, especially because some of them have liquids, or I guess most of them even have liquids. So I think a manual setup will be better for these, just to make it a bit easier on myself to put stuff in and take stuff out. And then I pretty much just copied my trade station from our old base. I've got 2 chests. One's going to be for purchasing stuff, one's going to be for selling stuff. And then I have 2 chests here, which I'm going to switch out for drawers just for storing my silver and gold coins. And this should work out pretty well for us. I did swap our hoppers for chutes, so the whole thing should work a little bit faster. And now we get to the fun part. So what I went ahead and did is I decided that I wanted all of the stuff that makes sense to automate on a single wall over here. So when I want to basically make anything automatically, I can just come over to this wall, place it into this top barrel, it'll go through our whole system and come out the bottom barrel. So I don't need to run around to each machine, find it, and like place stuff in. So for example, if I want to crush stuff, I don't have to go to my crushing wheels and place my blocks in. I just go to our crush barrel, pop in whatever I want to crush. It will then automatically get routed over to our crushing wheels and get crushed up. I can do the same thing if I wanted to crush something 2 times, because what I do find myself doing a lot is I'll crush something once and then I want to crush it again. Typically it's cobble into sand, but I have a crush times 2 setup as well. So I can just pop my cobble in there and it'll go over to this second set of crushing wheels where we have 2 in a row. I've also got compacting. For example, if I wanted to make logs into the bark version, I can place them into the compacting drawer, and they will end up over here, get compacted down into the full log variant. Next, I of course have a saw, so I can put my logs in there. They will come all the way over here and get cut down. So you can see them come through here, and we're stripping those logs automatically. And then next, I have a press, so I can put whatever I want to turn into the plate variant in here, and it will go travel all the way over here to our press and get pressed up. And then over here, I've got our cooking, our blasting for smelting, and our washing setup. So those items travel down here underneath. This is the only actual machine that's kind of hidden away because it doesn't look the greatest. So our cooked stuff and our washed stuff both go to the end here, where we have a filter here that is basically denying anything that can be cooked or denying anything that can be washed. And that basically means that it won't go through there until it's fully cooked. But then for our smelting, we had to do something a little bit differently because there's a lot of stuff that can be cooked twice. For example, cobblestone turns into smooth cobblestone, which turns into the smooth variant of stone. So if I put cobblestone here with this system, it would basically sit at the end and turn all the way into that smooth variant. So what we did is we just slowed this beltway down with a rotational speed controller. So that way, as it goes through here, when it gets to the end, it's already fully cooked and then goes back into our system. So then you can see after not much time at all, we have our compacted blocks, our sawed blocks, our pressed blocks, the stuff we crushed once that turned into gravel, and then the stuff we crushed 2 times, which turned into sand and clay and flint, the stuff we cooked up, the stuff we smelted, and finally the stuff that we washed. So I'm really glad that I did this. It was a little bit of a pain. It took a lot of time getting all of these belts routed correctly and working out. And I mean, back here is a little bit of a mess, but it all works. I think it looks pretty good up here, which is kind of the main goal, is to make the main part look really nice and be able to see everything that's going on. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm glad that I took the time to make our whole little wall here where we can smelt and cook and press everything up. And typically I don't really talk about how I power my builds because I've just been using water wheels up to this point, and that is continuing with this build for now. So I've got a whole bunch of water wheels here with our rotational speed controller, and we could only go up to 112 speed, but I would really like to run this at 256. So I could either add more water wheels, which I don't think I'm going to do, or wait for the time when I build my power plant, which is going to happen at some point. So I think eventually when I build a power plant, I'll hook this whole system up to the power plant to run it at 256 speed. However, I am actually going to leave the water wheels here because if our power plant ever goes down for whatever reason, I want to have a switch to switch it to our water wheel power because we may need our workshop to get our power plant back up and running. So I think it's really important that this thing has a backup generator to keep it going at all times. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to implement all of these basically crafting blocks we're going to need. So I'll probably find a spot. It might be there. It might be right here. We'll kind of see where that ends up. You'll do a walkthrough once we have the actual building done. So let's jump into the quickest time lapse you've ever seen. And here it is, our completed workshop building. Now, one thing you'll notice right away is the top isn't complete, and that's because I have a different plan for what I'm going to do up top. Instead of just a flat roof, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put an observatory here. That's what you can see, that little circle, and then that's going to be kind of like my research center where I'm going to have my board of all my to-do list items, as well as like store my buddy cards and extra armor sets, and kind of have like my central hub be right above our workshop itself. So let's go ahead and head down there and take a closer look at the inside. So right here is where we're going to be entering our workshop. Right now I just have this little hole cut through the mountain, but in the next few episodes we are going to have a path that goes down to our train station down there. But in here you come in, and I've got these computer monitors up here from Computer Craft, and eventually I want to have signs that maybe say like to train station, and then on this other one it would say crafting room or workshop or whatever. And I think that'll be a really cool way to kind of get around my base and be able to easily see where I'm headed. Then in here, you notice this big wall. We're going to do something different with that eventually on this side. But on this side, everything is complete and decorated. So you can see I went ahead and put 2 walls in, one where we have all of our crafting blocks, and then one where we have all of our machines, our press, our compactor, and our saw. And then another big wall over where we have our crushing wheel system. Then over here, I've got some of these like weird little holograms above here, just kind of make it a little more modern, bring a little bit more of a tech feel. If pretty soon I do want to replace these barrels with the silica barrels. First off, because they have more storage, and second off, because they look a little more futuristic and they'll fit with the whole vibe better. Then we have our trade station, mixer, our crafter, and then finally our filler here, and everything looks really cool. I kind of kept that same design for the train station on the walls here, but I added this little section above with the magic wood and the Tyrian blocks. And I really like it because it adds a bit more decoration in that upper area. Pretty soon here, I do want to do a little bit more decoration because like the create feel doesn't really work super well with our kind of modern aesthetic we're looking for. Like, for example, this belt system here, I think I want to cover it up a bit more. I did cover it up with these screens on the bottom here, but maybe what I'll eventually do is come back in and put some screens on the side here too, which I think might look a bit better and kind of hide our belts a bit more. But I think for now, we're just going to kind of leave it as is and move on to our next projects. And speaking of what's next, the first build I have in my little research area, which is just above our workshop, is a brand new to-do board. So I'm just going to walk through here and kind of show you what things are going to be coming next in the series. So the first thing I want to have is a testing facility where I can kind of build temporary machines to test out how stuff works. Then I need an ore processing plant where I can drop off all my ores to get processed, an infinite lava generator to help make our zinc machine plant, an automatic food factory to make our sandwiches automatically, a factory for all of the Chapter 3 items, a trade hall for both villagers and the buddy card endermen, a research lab, which is going to be this space up here, a mining outpost where we can do a bunch of automatic mining because we are a little low on resources, a coin trading hall where we're automatically generating coins and automatically generating items from those coins, a new storage room because we want to move from the system we're using now to the more advanced system from applied energistics. We need to upgrade the train track with our bridge. And then two more things, and I think these might be in the next episode, is to defeat the Ender Dragon and the Wither, and craft a magic feather, which will get us creative flight and make all of the building in our new factory a lot easier. Now, let's hop into our buddy card section and see if we can finish the create buddy card set. Okay, and we had exactly enough for 2 full stacks of 16 create set buddy cards. We only have a few holes left, so hopefully that's enough to complete our entire create set of buddy cards. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. We're missing a single card. We're missing number 13 of the shiny variant. Man, I wish I was able to create more, but sadly that was all of the lapis we had, so we cannot create any more buddy steel, so I think we'll actually have to hold off on finishing our create set of buddy cards until we get that final card. So the next episode, maybe we'll finish that and then start working on whatever pack is next. So let me know down in the comments what you think of our new Workshop 2.0 and how you think this whole megabase project is going. I'm a pretty big fan of how it's going, and I'm really excited to see it grow and expand more up into the mountains around us. So I'll see you guys next time, but in the meantime, go create something awesome.